Объектов, блин, понакачал. Пора удалять. Так. Ну вот это вот нужно посмотреть будет. Сохранить, так сказать. Мгм. Интересно. Теории набрала уже. Я думал, уже до 70 тысяч дойдет, но пока 69. Извращенка. Второе видео с дамагом 510, но оно идет, кстати, отвратительно вообще. То есть на ютубе как будто замедленно, как будто подвисает, как будто лагает, а на компе, когда основное было, там идет нормально. Не знаю даже. Так, вот это выключаем, это мы делаем. Нужно сейчас битву пройти по-быстренькому. Все-таки для теории собираю пока ресурсы. Хотя мне впадло уже вот эти кровоцветы, всякую фигню собирать. Там по артефактам посмотрю, потому что сколько там у меня? 57-68 лун осталось смолы. Думаю, все в порядке будет. О, можно потом еще раз будет бегать. Блин, да это нафиг. Может, с Battle Pass до 70 накоплю. Можно будет после сюжетки еще раз бегать. Да, готов бросить вызов, но пока не для Нави. Пусть она пока на 80-м побудет. Тем более. Все, до свидания. Всех зарядили? Замечательно. Ну, блин, по 2, давайте по 3 хотя бы. Почему на аниме, блин, столько этих падает? Мне они нафиг не нужны, по идее. Еще один момент, надо простить бы по магазинам, поскупать эти гео-приколюхи. Посмотрим, сколько у меня печатей собралось. Блин. А там же печать в Бинадзуме, если есть она, то мне нужно печать, по-моему, на Сакуру. Да, ну и дела. Так побыстрее будет. Да. Замечательно. Просто прекрасно. Мора мне не нужна. Заготовка, да. Ага. Ну, как-то так. А все остальное, получается, скупил. Да, все вот эти осколки, сколько их было вообще? 10 штук, по-моему. Теперь что в Инадзуме там? Есть этот магазинчик? Да. Все имеется. Сейчас посмотрим, что туда нужно вообще спихнуть. Ну, что он? Где это ювелирка? Ясно, у него ничего нельзя взять. Включение. У тебя есть что-нибудь особенное? Праздничный барабан? Не. Это мимо сразу. Ладно, хорошо, посмотрим Сумеру. Потому что там что-то я тоже насобирал. Так, где оно? А оно находится прямо здесь. А того челика, походу, просто так поставили, потому что, типа, там нельзя, мол, и так далее. Блин, а что такая загрузка долгая? Что, выключить за трансляции? Да, в принципе, быть такого не может. Нужно наверх двигаться. И вот она лавка. Ну да. А, то есть нельзя, да? А там что, ну нельзя, блин. Короче, бред какой-то. Розлив гневных вод. Там что-то нужно с Нави встретиться было. Она же внизу там где-то находится. Ну и все, потом... спойлерить не буду, но я знаю то, что Скирк будет. Ну и развитие событий. Это последняя глава должна быть. Я надеюсь... Кошмар какой-то.
Do now?
Look, there's someone up.
Just stay put. We're coming up. Watch your balance. All right. Just hurry. I'm not young anymore. How will I survive on my own?
He looks pretty sad.
My leg. How could this have happened?
Да, что-то вообще какая-то драма и трагедия разыгрывается на самом деле. Так. Но нам на этих ноунеймов как бы без разницы. Ты там с Нави. Да чтоб вам было густо, а потом оказывается, что Райденер это бабц с высоты шлепнулась.
Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson, so we came as quickly as we could.
Yes. As you can see, the water level suddenly rose. It caused quite the disturbance, in fact.
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety, but we've run out of medical supplies.
He's wounded? How badly?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof.
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1, and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor. He should know where to go.
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue mission in the meantime.
All right. You'll be in charge. I'm sorry. Where were we?
A situation.
Right. Allow me to explain. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought the rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were... The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible, but there have been The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of Poisson are still hazardous. No one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now is try our best to...
How awful. And all of
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish that everything that just happened...
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this. You don't know how much it means to me.
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
I'll be right there.
Блин, ну если тех двух чуваков, короче, убрали, мне такой расклад вообще не нравится.
Sorry. I
Как
need
бы
to go for
они
now.
угорали нехило так.
And off she goes. Seems it might be a while before she can take a break.
Okay, the wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support has just arrived, so, of course, we should remain ready for anything, and continue doing our best to rescue others. I'll be sure to... Traveler, Paimon, would you two accompany me to my father's
Зачем?
grave for a moment?
Huh? Right now?
Thank you.
Зачем вообще, я не понимаю, блин. О, какое мрачное все, блин. Я думал, типа, ну ладно, тут это там все дела, мы посмотрели, там живая, как бы ладно. Но нет. В общем, надеюсь, за сегодня я до бездны-то доберусь. И где она? А ее тут нету, она появится потом, да?
Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson, Paimon doesn't think there'd be a ton of people here visiting graves.
Right. That's how things are now. The living are so exhausted.
Navia?
Ну, блин.
Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver. They won't ever come back here again.
Да. Вот это печально.
What should I do, Papa?
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still... I was the one who initiated it. They were helping evacuate the residents, but they couldn't leave, and they were caught in the seawater.
What should we do?
I've known them for so long, and I know they weren't afraid. I could at least hold a funeral for my father, and I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that you'd enjoy a glass of red wine in front of Master Callus's grave.
I can understand. Besides, the scenery here isn't half bad.
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I visit Papa. Perhaps we might even have a picnic. He wouldn't be angry, would he?
How could Master ever be upset with you, Demoiselle? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed, is it not? Everyone ends up here.
Buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, Demoiselle.
Hey, stop joking around.
I'm quite serious. That way, it will save us both the trip to see each other whenever you visit your father's grave.
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his other side?
After all, besides you, demoiselle, the two of us could certainly be considered Master's closest companions, no?
Personally, I believe we fill those shoes just fine.
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. All right. I'll remember your requests. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd make the journey even if I had to visit you two somewhere else. I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. But here I am. I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel, but
I had always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, that never solely Malus and Silver have helped me so much. I'm so sorry.
you can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll stay...
Thank you. Right now, you don't know how much that means. By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny. So, everyone else is...
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And you're right. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Don't think that way, Navia. One person might be saved at the... Malus and Silver were not the price for saving...
You're right. What you said just now was pretty amazing.
Oh,
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
the knave? What are you doing here?
Is everything going well on your side?
Опа.
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and we're preparing to relocate them to higher ground. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no need to worry.
Thank you very much.
Wait, do you two know each other?
We just met recently. Right, Miss Navia?
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter, but that doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, it never even crossed my mind that a Fatui Harbinger would come looking for me. Thanks to the Knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue and evacuation work so quickly.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on. I'm sure you understand what I mean.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui before, and it's extremely important for us to know who we're working with. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations. I hear that they've also prepared a large amount of emergency supplies.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organizations to act forcefully, whether they are doing good or ill. You've witnessed that firsthand, in any case. As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent the impending disaster. Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not be troubled by this token of our sincerity. Perhaps one day, you'll also be able to help me in the...
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties. I won't forget your kindness.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver.
Don't say that. You and your subordinates did everything you could. As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice themselves for any... I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to relieve pain by saying some noble...
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Navia. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that prophecies represent fate.
So, you're one who will try to change fate then?
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take care of, and the children need my attention. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just... Huh? This isn't...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need today. It would not hurt to have Miss Navia listening in. Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the Fortress of Maripede's sluice gate. Indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from the House of the Hearths. During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is becoming... My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly, this disaster...
So, that's why the Fatui were all...
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to higher ground to assist affected residents. Linny told me that outside of the house, which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearths members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they can...
Oh! That's some...
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you family, it's on...
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins, right?
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss Nop?
But are you sure you're up to exploring some ruins?
Well, I'm sad, yes. But there's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. Besides, I'm also doing this for myself.
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. All right? The ruins are to the south of Poisson.
Okay, the three of us will handle it.
Замечательно. Так. Угу. А поблизости нету ничего такого. Ну, хотя бы тут с горы хотя бы спрыгнуть.
The knave was talking about?
They seem to be pretty angry.
Let's go in and have...
Just be careful.
Ну, хоть какое-то развитие. И, конечно же, тут будут сейчас, наверное, головоломки. Уровень отряда ниже. Ну, конечно. И не уровень отряда нужен, а персонажей. А где Навия сама, кстати? Почему за нее-то нельзя, типа, побегать там и так далее? Круто. А что, нельзя побольше было энергии заделать? Круто. Да-да-да. Знаю я такие уже бывалые приколисты.
This place has also been contaminated by
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontainian would most likely dissolve the moment they fell in.
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous, and it won't be any help for you to just stay here. Don't get by my wrong. We're not saying you're useless. It's...
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. That complicates things.
In that case, do you want to wait for us here?
The water levels here are unstable, and there's a chance I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up ahead.
All right. Come.
О чем этот разговор вообще? Не в тему. Так, смотрим дальше, что там.
Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Ну, это не лабиринт хотя бы, а кишка, можно сказать так. Не ломаются, как сумеру. Так, ну, по-моему, эта башня должна быть главной. Если это так, то хорошо. Что опять? Там босс будет? Ну я добежал же. Ну пиздец.
Demoiselle?
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark if I hadn't come to get you?
Maybe she just wants some time to herself, Malus.
Oh, was I?
Yes, it would appear so.
I must be tired.
That's quite possible. However, you were the one that suggested we go out for a walk.
Oh, right. I nearly forgot. It must have slipped my mind when I dozed off. This is a familiar feeling.
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no. No, I'm fine. I was just trying to recall why we came out for a walk.
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help before with foreign merchants who had a debt dispute with him, and
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the moment.
Ah, right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have you been?
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized that I wasn't the one they were looking for. Why, I wasn't even They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor, Obina, was getting fed up with them.
sometimes force is required to calm someone down.
That's right. Oh, by the way, Burnett, What was it that you wanted to give to Miss Navia again?
Oh, yes. One moment, Miss Navia. These are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what we would have done without your help. So this is a little
Did you cultivate them yourself? Thank you so much. I'll certainly
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for some of Mrs.
Very well.
Wait. Excuse me, madam. If I'm not mistaken, your name is...
That's right. Is something wrong?
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met, but your name... I've heard this name before. And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, demoiselle. We still have important things to attend to today.
We do? Like what?
Well, now, did you forget?
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please, come to the Opera House. Your trial is about to begin.
My trial? Wait.
Yes, she's right, demoiselle. It's just about time now.
Oh? All right then.
Да, что вообще запутано немного.
Look, it's Navia! She's here!
And her 2 attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly... Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Julien, Essen. Why are so many... And as for the judge... huh?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall accompany you.
All right. But are you sure you can stand behind me?
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today is an...
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have any idea what they're doing?
Seriously.
Enough with the whispering!
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. If anyone in need reached out, not only you, but your butler, your subordinates...
Wait a moment.
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. We are one big family, all of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. And with you being so important, therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty.
Huh? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for...
Oh, well, if that's what you...
How wonderful, Miss
Ну, понятно, в общем, она оказалась в этом мире. И вот такая фигня здесь.
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's...
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but nothing...
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed, even the death of Master Callus couldn't stop her.
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. She merely acted... Please do not mistake her act...
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontainians here. This is the nation of justice. Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return to everyone. Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro. And in the end, everyone shall meld together. Thus, when a unanimous opinion emerges, that now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. You are merely jealous that Demoiselle still has a chance to exist as an individual. Have you forgotten how much you all once longed to become individuals?
Do you mean to defy our justice?
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver, and that is how we...
My head...
Demoiselle,
Silver, it hurts. My head is spinning. I remember now. Everything that seemed odd from the very beginning. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt. We will...
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and in the nation... Don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia...
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses!
She says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent individual?
What's with these people?
Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss Navia.
Silence!
That's...
Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party.
Our thanks, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, Demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place. What, can't bear to leave us behind or something?
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this shall...
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come now!
Goodbye, Demoiselle.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive, and they...
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within, but I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your conscious...
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people...
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right. Perhaps there's something we could chat about?
the set. Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels awkward when there's nothing.
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time to herself.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you think it's even more awkward?
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewin. I hope all is well with her these days. Her work in the fortress of Meropide has not been...
No way. Don't worry. She's doing fine down there. She's an...
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that Sigewin would need a lot of time.
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewin made him do that. He hopes that you haven't been overwhelmed by all that's happened lately.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and I also hope that everything is going well.
He still doesn't know what to talk about. Let's chat about something else then. So, Neverland... this isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the nave, and we had a chat. She informed me that she had...
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official documents. We didn't think exploring the ruins...
Так,
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now.
да. Я же в подземке
Guess we
еще.
should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
Oh, right! Another one joins the party! Let's keep going then!
Strike! Now you shall perish!
Ну что опять там, блин?
Oh no, another unstable path. Watch your step!
Ну чтоб вам было густо, а?
Watch out! There are rock falls over here!
Coming through! Quiver!
Блин, долбаные руины.
It seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
А долго там еще подниматься или чё? Да чтоб вы провалились, а?
Illusion shot!
Billowing surge! Service with the smile!
Storm the front! Shine down! Torn to oblivion!
Мешок с говном упал.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces in the vicinity.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates? It seems like they were...
Perhaps we should just leave them be for...
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot is missing.
The surrounding walls also...
There's something written below. Let Paimon see.
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But...
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate's contents correspond to it.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a...
And is that Lady Farina in the 3rd image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the...
And is that a ring of people around...
The 4th image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain. More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette. Deciphering ancient...
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at... This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really...
Still, Paimon feel...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontain, come before...
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that the person in the
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? And also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their contents, could this place be the origin of the prophecy?
But who would have created these...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else...
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina. You know how it is. There's some things you just need to be there for yourself.
You still haven't...
Just head back to the Fleuve Cendre.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work today. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask... I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office.
Are you really going to talk to her about this directly? Will that...
She has long been harboring secrets, and will not give them up easily. Which makes it all the more my duty.
All right, we'll leave it in your hands then.
I will be carefully considering my...
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fleuve Cendre is... All right, I'll be on my...
We're finally back!
Welcome back. We've got a special menu prepared for you two.
Yay! And there's good food too! Navi, no, the bop? Ooh, desserts! Nice! Paimon's already starting to forget what happened today.
О, блин. А ее как сюда занесло вообще.
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
она пришла все съесть по-любому.
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine? Mona? Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they... Still, we didn't expect to see you here! Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out first. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadt or yeah. Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when there was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes. To my surprise, however, Magistus is... Nope. Although it is used by us in place of... Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus. Whoa, that's a long one. Does it... My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice as great scholar of the stars. Just... Thrice as great? That's so... I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Magistus, actually, but once she took me in, she... Talk about excessive. Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mona? You're from Mondstadt, right? Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dorman Port. Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know... Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? I know you're not alone. There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird invited me to take... The invitation was sent quite early on.
Ну, кстати, про паровую птицу вообще забыли.
Just tell us what you think is an... What I can tell you, I'm afraid that...
Ой, надоела она мне. Можно быстрее, блин, нафига вот это все растягивать?
And I bet there are other... Thanks, Mona. Oh, that's the great indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well,
Да,
I'll go
катись
tend to
уже.
my own business now.
Чегось, блин.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. If Paimon hadn't spoken for you, it'd be you getting all the weird looks. That's more like... Good morning. To be honest, Paimon's still feeling kind of sleepy. But it's time to get up, traveler. We agreed to go see Neuvillette.
Так. Звание еще надо это получить. О, прикольная моделька собаки. Что у них все так затянуто?
You're here! Finally! Is Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina, they seem...
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near...
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy.
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such...
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain... There are several indications that you have been investigating the This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as you have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh! You noticed!
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasse. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that we may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice.
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydra...
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that...
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but this may be cruel to her. But all Fontейn is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious. But who will lend us their aid to do such?
Well, that's everyone. Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. Then,
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
that's what families should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time together.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No.
Такой
I
дядя.
don't think I can.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend, as for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our...
Oh? How in...
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating this?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick up some fancy oratory tricks to impress your boss with in the future.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette,
I've also gone...
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, though that was their name, they did not hunt
Очень опять
animals,
затянуто
but
все.
rather various monsters left behind. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned
Зачем мне вот эти истории, которые вообще к делу, в принципе,
A trap comprises of the following
частично, может,
components:
относятся?
bait, a trigger, and a containment device. So, if we were to build a trap together...
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will... Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the...
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like
Calm and steady.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm...
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can... I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough...
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have...
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any... But I do have one more question. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design...
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey.
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey.
So...
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, but we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a...
Oh, so that...
Наконец-то. Блин, а будет ли вот это вот бездна? Что там?
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much is... Paimon didn't think the meetings would... Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, from an
Да-да-да, пискля, надоело.
It's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable person in the... did you just pour some... Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that couple...
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice?
Ah, have you forgotten me already?
Wait. You are familiar.
The voice from the sky, You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will be fulfilled.
What? Then is there any way...
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed? Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about?
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your own. This was good tea, by the way.
The voice.
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter. Fine, just not all Fontaine.
Да блин, ну сколько можно? Где развитие событий?
About what we had,
Господи, сколько этих диалогов просто вот. Вы что, угораете надо мной, блин? Больше часа сижу уже просто вот, я не знаю. Одна подземка только была. Бла-бла-бла-бла-бла-бла.
Traveler? Oh, I see. I guess you could consider me someone who... But even so, perhaps that's what N was trying to... I did original...
You do have a point.
There I go. It was worth trying to comfort, I suppose.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Так. Куда теперь там надо, блин? Давайте уже нормальное развитие событий. Я сколько сижу уже? Ну, больше часа, понятное дело. И ничего, блин, в принципе, такого не происходит. А, паровая птица может тут это... Ей же что-то там это рассказать надо было, бла-бла-бла, и про нее вообще забыли. Нет.
Let Paimon see. The underwater stronghold, the fortress of Meripede. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of the... So while the fortress's interior, journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop...
А вот и просадочка в сюжете.
She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fort. Seriously? Well...
Понятно. Где, блин, экшен?
Hey, quick! Look! That's... let's give it another go. Paimon's sure it'll be...
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nerval...
Wait, did he really say...
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Как это к делу относится, блин?
It's part of my day.
Then what if some...
But why would it...
Well...
Oh, the No. It...
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have... These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She said that I've got something else to do.
Всё, блин, беги.
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon It's more delicious than... Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious.
Но это все пропускаем по-любому. Что там опять? Да ладно, вспомнили. Так, где эта редакция-то находится, блин? Или здесь, я не понял. В смысле, блядь? Как на этой территории проходит другое задание? Вы чё? Блядь. Скоты. Я не хочу сейчас это проходить. Я не брал это задание, но автоматом вылупилось. А, ясно. Ну, плюшки хоть какие-то соберу, уже хорошо. Да, закрывайся. Ну, такое. Да, все, поручение, не поручение. Замечательно.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Ha! You got some nerve! You just used us...
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a... It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some...
Really?
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives...
Oh, Paimon knows you're no...
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you look...
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. It seems you've already bumped... So, she mentioned me? What did she...
She said that you're a real
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to...
Huh? So your article...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like...
Yeah, are we even...
Why not?
Oh.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor and... Whew, so much to get done now.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If... just for...
Huh. That's the profit. If you're seriously... From what I've seen, so in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish, and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeon. I'm not a dreamer, but anyway, that's my answer.
Да, все, тоже беги.
So nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
Блин, что за бред вообще? Нафига вот это бег... Это основная сюжетка называется.
Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't fun... No, Paimon should ask... We've always been moving to the next You mean still traveling? Huh. Feels like it'll grow, but it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia.
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for... Not at all. I'm well aware... Yes, inside the Opera House.
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House. And while she was resting, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the...
I agree.
So what happened after them?
Seeing that the situation... The Marechaussee...
So...
That's right. That said, I don't think there's good.
Don't worry.
Да я понял уже все, блин. Растягивают, растягивают.
If we know and as when Nervillet, it would be Paimon thinks, huh? Well, what do you think? In that case, it...
Так, дальше.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there.
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler.
Farina, you were crying just now.
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? They even dare to tout their Archon! I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Neuvillette and those people from the Marechaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line. That's against the rules. I can't.
Сама себя просто намазывает, я не знаю.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her. This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon.
What?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted.
Это все ловушка по-любому.
No, I'm
mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep, that's a good...
What's happening?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, did it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neverlette's made some emergency plans, so...
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson... It's true. I've been investigating I once had informants all over Tevat. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to... But all my efforts prove to be futile. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will... give up. I do love the sound of that phrase, indeed. I've thought about giving fate. Is really unreasonable, isn't it? But just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment has it, don't worry. I will... Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontейн fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn...
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty. A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, if that's...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stick. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself.
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She...
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. I will admit that I've been running away for a long... I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the... You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you... I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the truth. This time, I will... A applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontain. Woohoo!
Oh, now we're making history.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking the—
Alright then. Who will be my—
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat.
Вот, опять, блин.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina—
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn small. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a
So, you mean the ones who scoured the—
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box, so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo was an Archon instead. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of—
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant—
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's part. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be— and also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only—
Thank you.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role— you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh? Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so That means this document is a perfect timeline of every... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher.
Ну, блин, сейчас будет перебор. Подборка,
The
точнее.
Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in. I didn't think that you'd wind up get this is the first time of Fatui Harbinger. The fortress of Merit, according to Monsieur Neuvillette. I nearly lost my awesome friend, not the words of someone as extraordinary as...
Так, замечательно, погнали.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actor, of course. It is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the action.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could...
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric.
Yeah, I've never questioned her
Блин, как они переобуваются, эти зрители.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they... See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you... If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over...
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's...
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble it, but in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after...
Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina is actually...
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been... Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. God, for centuries, manifestations of my authority... One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal...
That doesn't sound right.
Блин.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current... While the court is in session, The principles of justice and the law must... You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold...
I never thought.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty instead of having been created by you. The manifestation...
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know why, but the Oratries handed out that verdict unilaterally. And you can't argue that just because a
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratries.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the...
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons, thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily...
Isn't that...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you pleased.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, no...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. That doesn't...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area, including those of some of my... So, Miss Farina, would you dare... If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on it. If you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many...
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontainian like all the rest of us. Would she...
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution, as it falls outside the realm of standard court proceeding.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would follow—
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please—
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved.
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare it, however. After extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as a... It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold... Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon... Also, if I was really just a human... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too...
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think that...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontейn. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was...
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal... Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume that...
Any
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you...
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already... so when you say Hydro Archon...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of... However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other three...
О, началось мозгоклюйство.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea. That reminds Paimon, well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that...
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women, and the first stone slate tells us that this might be the reason that Fontaine... Perhaps what is about to take place, the true sin of the Hydro Archon and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine. It's not as simple as falling into the sea. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing? The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not the fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know if we hadn't dealt with it in time.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. slate's content can all be verified by recent events. If we Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. So, but then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny,
All Fontainians were originally created by the late... The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater. And how all... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celestia by creating... That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient...
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth... In the end, the people will all be dissolved. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you... However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of... When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If... I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and in the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are human. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead, you may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial. Therefore, the meaning that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decide in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
It was both dream and...
If we're talking about a true culprit, that can only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
the truth, the original sin, the trial.
А вот и Тарталья, наконец. Или это не он? Ну вот, дошел, можно сказать и так.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of a...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontainians nigh Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of...
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely... From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect... Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy,
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it is even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. Just as prophecies are usually only the ultimately,
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Marina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontein. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this. any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person, anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Ark, in order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady. To forever. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human, it's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not... Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontainians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Inazuma shines eternal!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards! Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Now ye shall perish! Ha!
Farina. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what?
Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And
oh,
what's going on? I can't seem to.
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Well,
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may.
Oh, so there's still hope after. As for the suffering, but if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other.
I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its hydro...
Play as...
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But
how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being...
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not...
I'm still not sure I understand. So, how long?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, but I promise you, all will eventually end.
A trial, huh? The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the opera. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor as the god Focalor, the god of justice. I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, this should... I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might...
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being... Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god. Calm down, Farina. Think. What do... Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can... Oh, very good, my people. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage. Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited. Now then, let us be...
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful. Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accessions. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor, for we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its god. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And on the other, hooray, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us... There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand with...
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a
Come now. Besides, none of these trials were the one...
if I may be so
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial.
That's true. I fear I lack the ability to grasp...
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now. Do your...
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of Oh, I'm afraid. All right. Deuteria, is it? How is your...
He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I.
Oh, good. Very good. if this should happen again in the future,
You're such a gentle and wise girl.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for...
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, all manner of signs indicate... Really? Have they found...
I'm afraid that the...
Is that so? The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. Maybe this is fine. I just... Alright, Farina, don't...
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest case.
Что так затянуто? Господи, вот что не сюжет, постоянно затягивают. Я не могу так уже, блин. Да, больше 200. Сижу уже 3 часа почти.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies.
Understood. Keep monitoring. I don't think I let anything slip today. I feel utterly...
Lady Farina, it's... I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you... Are you crying?
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is...
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined. Have I reached my limit? I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But I've conducted so many investigations across the century. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain the...
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone, although I don't know what you might be keeping from...
Share. That's impossible. It was fated,
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can just share it with me.
a witness. Yes. And if Tevat is in its entire... She's right. I could confide, but if things don't play out as expected... No, Farina. You shouldn't... But what if... What if it's really all right, Farina? You've worked so hard for so... Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find if you let this opportunity slip through, think about it. Long and hard. nothing to say. I am Farina. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until...
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive, she did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity was...
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontейn? That is the most important...
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontейn has pinpointed the crux. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human... It now seems that that person was you.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem... Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill.
I beg...
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise... I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate, but really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the vast majority had to be accumulated to
It was all a part of your plan then?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, but only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent...
Returning what's rightfully yours to... In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro
But...
No, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And
all you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principle stole the power you ancient I, for my part, am the god of justice. And speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice... So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontейn, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, in other words, existence was Egeria's justice, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontain's people shall... At this point, we, whether it be Iudex Nervillet, the highest judge in our land, when you
So when I was invited to the court of Fontейn to serve as Iudex, at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about. You are a devious one for things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Nervalette, hereby declare, people of Fontейn, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the primordial sea. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontейn, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Да чтоб вы провалились!
I've already done my best to separate the power from the primordial sea from the weapon. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Ну это бред какой-то вообще. Как я его побеждать должен, по идее? Вот это вот. Так, типа я понял, вот эта шкала, я силу сейчас набираю. Где он, блин? А чё у него защиты столько-то хрена-то?
You my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its roots from within. Manifest the authority of the ancient dragons. Witness the might of the primordial sea.
Я не вижу, что он говорит вообще. Надоел. Ты на себе, блин, контент закроешь тут. Да, блядь, ты иди нахуй, сука. Вообще оборзел. Батька, броню свою. Хрен не пробьешь, блядь. Да, зашибись. Интересно, закрываем весь контент. О, вот и пришла. Иди-ка сюда.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. Should have been my job, but oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative, it eats too much, and I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
The Fowl?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or Gold Rhindaughter?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhindaughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhindaughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontein back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontein be washed away.
Initiate emergency rescue! Hurry! Hey, lend a hand!
water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
The soil renewed. The Spirit Rasula attacks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie with skyship winglet. Boon or bane of the Fontaine. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, which people always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while
Paimon's curious too!
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed.
Are you?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on! Let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip to the fortress.
Фу. Да уж. Эпилог, но это уже конец, в принципе.
Navia! Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represented the Knave in sending us a large amount of supplies. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as friend?
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are...
Huh? You're here
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision-makers. And, well...
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that.
I see you're the same as always.
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up and smile.
How did it go? Was it a good shot?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the... Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows?
Wow, you really do have...
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of...
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess, too. I asked Sijuin, who told Mr...
That's a... very...
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was... When I told him that it was best not to speak too soon.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move first.
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea in exchange.
You seem curious about the fortress.
Of course. That Risley. I still remember going down to the fortress to grill him for information on my father's case.
But he did invite you to tea.
2 large pots of it, in fact.
I have to agree.
Speaking of that, would you like to have some...
Well, I'd be
Wow, it's like... What flavor of biscuits would you like, Mr...
Me? I'm fine with anything. But I would...
All right.
I'll go over the newly arrived supplies with you later, Mr. Snezhevich. We should be...
That works great for me.
Is it...
I did. It was a gift from Sijuin.
Также я не хочу в эту крепость опять попадать, но, блин, это вообще...
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgic feel.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come all the way?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head nurse...
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear...
Sir, please don't say
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very...
No, I just...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. The boat that brought about a miracle. The ark that... Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get hers.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have...
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try?
Ah, Sijuin.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't... sure. Come on, Miss Sijuin.
Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone...
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jerrier? Miss Lurvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you two...
I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway...
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face...
Oh, actually...
What change can there be? As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to...
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater... All right, last stop, the docks.
Блин, да долго меня мотать по всякой фигне будет. И непонятно вообще для чего. Как бы уже в принципе все посмотрел. И все остальное. Так, секундочку. Нафига мне подъемник, если я могу так спуститься? Сумерские эти пустыни, блин. Но Фонтейн хотя бы мне не надоедает особо так. Ну то есть типа тут хотя бы как-то более-менее оживленно, в отличие от того же Сумеру.
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them.
Trick a friend. I wonder what...
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by...
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Sure.
Lynette sure is working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater escape magic to him too.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins...
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she wants to...
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something... Father says that you did a great deal during...
That's alright.
Oh, I guess you have... After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Nervilette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her...
A diplomatic gift?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually... It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devout... Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
Well, that's true, but this isn't...
I would agree, but I've also heard that... It seems that Monsieur
so there's some reason for this that only Nervilette knows it...
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which...
Isn't he real busy and stuff? But back to the topic. The gnosis...
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui.
So
shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontein.
Are you going to take the gnosis back?
That is our duty as Harbinger. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear switching my masks. Is something I've always... Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You're...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magician.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my...
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take one
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I guess this must be life. All right, then. We'll be handing out pockets and...
Well, guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see how Neverlette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
В общем, надо с этим заканчивать. Это уже невозможно, блин. На столько часов растянуть, блядь. Больше 3 часов сижу. Просто ужас какой-то.
The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! So, you really are here, Neverlet! Paimon didn't think you were going to have free time this...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he... In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to, but...
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us... Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually safe?
It is strange how words...
Whoa. So that's what happened? Fossilor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a... But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to...
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the... Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontainians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by...
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true, whilst... Yeah, and in a manner...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask.
Вот теперь это конец.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the... Whether it was due to that liability by association, or Fossilor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he...
Guess Fossilor had Fontainians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans. Hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got... Back when Fontainians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanic?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontaine...
Yeah! Lynette said the...
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere... Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as...
Paimon...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that...
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to... I related Fossilor's words to her faithfully and completely. She simply said that she was tired. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House.
But she's still got a...
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or... In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take... But now that she no longer has to play the role of Fossilor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead...
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Fossilor passed on, this matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided...
Looks like you're still considering stuff...
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed... As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue... Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no...
That's true. That power was linked, but the various mechs and machines in the city are...
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot...
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's...
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have... Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least the Oratrice, has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and as such it has lost all meaning for... If the Fatui have impure designs, we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is, as far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of...
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat in...
Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui...
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that you're at... We guessed that there might be some reason...
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intel... So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this. What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Ah, of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
Huh. According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her note, but I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all—
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts, and my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And what—
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to— If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to—
Next time, you believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger, then.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted—
The remains of the so that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces.
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontейn at unnecessary risk. I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from— I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental No, let's not think about this stuff right now. Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender, that's what you say, but this topic still feels— Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his master and get the—
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems like—
Yes. All the
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god.
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were— life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt and what ultimately is—
Ну, как-то так.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I suggest that you fully prepare.
Ну и все, в принципе. Основной сюжет закончен. Как бы на этом, в принципе, все уже. То есть смысла напрягаться нету. Основной сюжет пройден. Как бы ответы на некоторые вопросы я получил. Ну и все, в принципе. То есть Скирк увидел, что она из себя представляет. Довольно-таки интересная модель. Кстати говоря, на ногах у нее такой космос тоже изображен. Вот это прикольно. Вот это мне понравилось. Ну, посмотрим, что будет дальше. Пока точно не знаю. Никаких утверждений делать не могу. Да и вряд ли кто это слышит в данный момент. Особенно на этой, да, трансляции. Но что есть, то есть. По крайней мере, хотя бы видео неплохо таки работают. Так что на этом я не прощаюсь. Кто был, заглядывал, дошел до этого момента. Передаю, так сказать, привет, но не прощаюсь. Вот такие дела.